Hey guys, it's March 17th, 2021. It's roughly 8:30 Eastern. So let's take a look at how Nano Dimension traded today. So Nano Dimension did quite a bit of a recovery. They're not. I was not really sure the reason behind this decline. I did not see anything for days. All of a sudden, the stock just fell. So maybe just just they either being shorted or some organization pulled their funds out. So as far as Nano Dimension goes, this is a good climb. I mean, I think this might be a little aggressive because I mean you went basically the stock went from 960 all the way up to as high as about 1127. So to me, that's quite of a distance in that time. And if we look at it, that's roughly 17, 18%. So that's that's I think that's probably a typical Nano Dimension that it can move that much. So that's a good recovery by it. Um, Looking at the news, there was a catalyst also behind this. Not only the let's get back here actually for a second. Not only the market went in that same manner, went down, then kind of chased sideways and started climbing up. Now Dimension was with the market plus news of a catalyst. Two of them are they're basically it's descending of a joint project with L3. It was L3 Harris. So basically, this has been going on for 2 years. It's to provide systematic analysis of single board radio frequency, so basically RF for transmission for satellites, nano satellites. They're going to be low orbital, and we'll be communicating with ground-based satellite communications. So if you think about this, there's another big company out there called SpaceX that is done by Elon Musk, and their Starlink system is a satellite low orbital Earth orbital system. So low Earth orbit. So it's it's they're probably going to be using some this will be probably a common practice. My guess in the future. But anyways, the point is that they're going to be testing that. So there are two main things that electronics are going to be subjected to that you really want to pay attention to the most is the ionizing and deionizing levels, and then single event effects. So this side of the house is basically how the materials hold up to radiation. So imagine basically, I don't know, for people like cars or boats. Like in boats, they're in the sun all the time, so they get exposed to the radiation a lot more. And over time, it starts to break down the material on the boat, the what they call the gel coat. And the gel coat tends to just become brittle and soft, and you would have to sand that off and do another coating of wax and stuff like that. So that is what this is about. It's this is going to be in higher levels of radiation exposure if there is no proper shielding, or that it's not effective. Otherwise, it may not be worth it, kind of thing. Um, because I mean, low orbital satellites have, I believe, a 2 to 3 year time span before they come naturally crashing down onto the Earth. So, if you're going to create some kind of form of shielding, and it's costly to produce it to where it'll last longer than 3 years, then it's not really worth having it if the failure rate is closer to 3 years. So this single event effects, this stuff has to do with signal processing. The radiation having basically changing the electrical to corrupt the messaging and signaling. So that's the other part of the house is, from what I understand, most electronics aren't really going to be affected by this too much unless they're really directly subjected to it. So that's kind of the main thing that what they're trying to do is understand that with the materials now Dimension uses for their AMEs. So that's what this whole thing is about. So they're going to be testing that. In the low orbital Earth is about 1,200 miles above the planet, which is the same space where the ISS is, right? So they sent it up there, and then they're going to be doing their testing. This is going to be a systematic approach to where they're testing, there's going to be 3 phases that it goes through. So here, pre-flight, in-flight, and post-flight. So they'll be testing a lot of these things. So, they've named Now Dimension as the leader in this stuff. So that's a very big news for Now Dimension, especially, in the past they've indicated that their sales of their LDM system is a lot with space and defense. So that is something, so we're seeing some of this here pan out. So otherwise, that's pretty much it as far as the news go. I have not received anything from ARC and how their what ETFs they traded today. So I think they've been having some system problems in the past, from what I see, because when I get the email, there's sometimes a second follow-on email indicating that there was some changes in the data where some things weren't reported or incorrect amounts, that kind of nature. All right, so back to the chart. Let's turn on the MACD and the RSI. So the MACD, we've in the 1 hour, which is, a lot of times I would measure these things in the hour. The RSI is starting to get a little higher. This kind of movement would produce that. But the MACD itself has gone over the baseline, while the signal is at 0.03, so it's about to go. So this tends to have a bullish effect, but we'll see how tomorrow goes if we get more volume. This probably should have been, this retracement I think would have been fine for this, even though it was quite pretty fast, because I don't think this was like short selling. I think this is mainly has to do with, I think maybe like a large position was closed by some organization. That's just my guess, just by looking at the way this thing recovered, and there was not really a lot of resistance, right? It was just healthy regression back. So, all right. So in the daily time frame, I think we're trying to get back to where we were before all this happened. We are starting to do on the the MACD has crossed over and heading towards the baseline. The RSI is still very healthy, and I imagine the weekly is the same also. The RSI is healthy, and we're starting to maybe see a leveling of the MACD and the signal for for that. So I think we're looking pretty good. So we'll see what the future holds as far as a lot more catalysts appearing. That's one good one there, and then hopefully with the economy starting back up, we'll start to see people getting back to work, and then orders coming in for some machines from Nano Dimension. All right, guys. Other than that, hopefully, the Nasdaq continues to recover and do things. Start getting back on the trend. Let's actually take a look at that for a minute. So, is it IX? Yeah. So yeah. So here we are, we're doing that bounce. So hopefully we'll continue to go. It looks like it's at the point where if we get the volume, we'll break out, breaking the pattern. So let's see on the daily. Yeah. I mean, there is this range that we're gonna have to clear. So hopefully, yeah, tomorrow. I mean, we've definitely got close to that area. So there is quite a bit of a wall there, but it looks pretty bullish. Yeah, and if this blue MA, which is the MA9, crossing over these, going up, we'll definitely get back onto the bulls getting back onto being in control. So you can start to see the whole shift. All right, guys. Hopefully that's encouraging, and good luck trading. See you later. Have a good night. Bye.